Danny Howe, one of the founders over at Stored. Danny, are you ready to do a software in 5?
Sure am.
Danny, tell us a little bit about Stored. I really like what you're building over there, pretty novel. But tell us a bit more. What is it and who's your ideal customer?
We're what you probably describe as an omni-channel mobile payment solution. So we effectively allow brands to create individual payment experiences, regardless of the channel or the experience that the customer has taken to get there. We can allow brands to build very unique checkout experiences. So who is our perfect customer? I suppose anybody that's taking a digital or a mobile payment as part of a non-standard customer experience. And what I mean by that is anybody that hasn't walked into your physical store and opted to buy a product at checkout, or anybody that hasn't landed directly on your website searching for your product via Google or standard form. So we're working with different types of retailers, both digital to digital, physical to digital. We're also working in the hospitality sector as well. And actually, interestingly for us, we're also working now with an increasing number of PSPs and payment partners that have appetite to effectively take the Stored proposition into their customer base.
Awesome. I don't know how much competition there is out there, a lot of indirect competition perhaps, but tell us a little bit about what differentiates Stored from the competitors.
Yes, there's not a massive amount of direct competition. And I think that's probably the positive part for us because we're able to work quite collaboratively and in partnership with incumbent suppliers. I suppose just to explain, if you think about consumer experience and consumer journeys and how they've evolved over the course of the last 30 years, and they've become increasingly complicated. So 30 years ago, you as a physical merchant would have a pretty direct relationship with your customer. It'd be a physical relationship. Your customer comes into your store, they buy your product and they like your product, hopefully, and then they return and buy it again. Then you've got the emergence of the internet. And as a result of that, you become as a retailer, quite often a multi-channel retailer by default. You have a website now and you also have a physical store that you're trying to manage. And with that comes a load of complications. I lose visibility of my customer and how do I manage that increasingly complicated journey? And then what you've seen over the last 10 years with the acceleration of things like social media, QR codes, pop-up events, or every other interaction that you might have with your customers, there are now thousands and thousands of different ways that your customer can find you, your brand, and your products. And some of those channels you own, some of those channels you don't. And what you have seen over the last 10 years is become easier in many ways to take a payment. So there's been the evolution and an increase of payment methods. So express checkout, your Apple Pay, Google Pay, tap to pay in different forms. However, what hasn't really changed are the places that you can take a payment. So the places that you can take a payment still today, in most cases, either you can take a payment at your physical store at a checkout manned by a human being in most cases now, or you can send them to your traditional e-commerce website to take that payment. And that e-commerce website is effectively the digital representation of your physical store. However, that doesn't reflect the journey that the customer has taken to get there. And you provide those standard journeys and checkout and payment experiences to every customer, regardless of those channels. So in short, like really what we're doing is providing retailers, brands, the opportunity to create personal or unique payment experiences that reflect the unique nature of their customers and the journeys that they've taken to get there.
Cool. So a customer could have come from any kind of touch point, social or otherwise, and then they can go to a more bespoke buying experience that is possible via Stored, basically.
So like a great example, we're doing a lot of stuff with affiliate at the moment with creators and influencers. I find and identify a product here on a creator's channel. I click a button today that takes me then through to a redivert, probably another action, takes 3 or 4 seconds to load, and then sends me to a standard e-commerce experience. With Stored, we're allowing retailers and brands to shortcut that part of purchase by removing the affiliate interruption because we have visibility of the transaction. But 2, we're taking customers directly to a page that shows the creator wearing the product, allows for 2-tap checkout, and aligns with the journey that they've taken to get there.
Why are people signing up with you? Do they get it? Is there demand out there, or are you having to educate them a bit as well?
So I think people get it. The challenge for us is that there are so many alternative use cases. So if you think about, particularly the retail, over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 years, there's been a big push and conversation around omni-channel and omni-commerce. What does that mean? How do I not only manage multiple channels, but how do I connect those experiences? So I know that one of the biggest problems for me as a retailer is that if I have a physical store, my customers are coming into my store, seeing my products, and the first thing they do is they pull out their mobile phone, they move to Google, And even if they're searching for my product, there's a chance that they're going to move into an alternative experience. That kind of stuff now that is really prevalent. It's a massive point of both conversation and I think challenge for retailers in terms of how they continue to own and manage that customer experience. And Store is perfectly suited really to help businesses to capture those sort of moments of inspiration.
What are you seeing that's going to be really sticky with Stored and keep those brand and retailer relationships going forward into the future?
I think it's that whole point around experiential payments. Like how do you build out the use cases and the opportunities to create what we would probably define as like love moments. And a payment is more than a transaction, right? It's a successful culmination of an experience. And as a result of that, it should be more. I think that's the stuff that people are really excited about. Actually now collaborating and working with other payment partners that see the technology that we're building as potentially a very valuable part of their product proposition for their existing customer base. And I think for us, actually embedding ourselves in that financial ecosystem is really important.
If you wanted to leave people with one thing to walk away and remember about Store, what would that be?
I think we are genuinely unique. We're talking a lot about experiential payments. And the payment is more than a transaction. It is ultimately that end point. So what you would hope is a very successful relationship and outcome. And that's the bit where I think you're going to see Stored really start to change how people think about payment and payment experience.
Danny Howe, founder over at Stored. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Nick. Thanks.